Samsung are calling the Fold 7 the Ultra that folds. But just how close to that claim are they? Let's find out. Let's go. The S25 Ultra is Samsung flexing their slab phone muscle. They've made an ultra premium, thin, lightweight, fully powerful smartphone in this package. The Fold 7 is here now, and they are leaning into the Ultra sort of feature set with a 200 megapixel main camera and the ultra sleek, lightweight, but premium design. And it unfolds into a tablet. But as much as, you have that unfolding experience for that tablet, the design of these have kind of never been closer. And that is in favor of the Fold that I make that statement. When closed, they are 3 grams away in weight. Again, in favor of the Fold 7. 215 versus 218 on the Ultra. And the displays on the front, 6.5 inches versus 6.9. So you've got 2 pretty big screen experiences, again, when closed. But that design when closed is all that's the same because the similarities end there. The S25 Ultra, slab phone. 6.9 inches of glorious slab smartphone experience. 218 grams in weight, 8.2 millimeters thin, titanium and glass sort of meshed together to create the highest end slab experience you can possibly get, at least from Samsung. The Fold 7, you honestly will not believe that you are holding a folding smartphone because of the way it feels in the hand. You just feel like you're holding a normal phone. That's it. That's how you feel. 215 grams and 8.9 millimeters when closed. That is not too far away from some of the Ultras from the years gone by. And the fact it's so lightweight, you truly feel something special. And then you unfold it, which creates an otherworldly experience altogether because you have a 4.2 millimeter thin phone in your hands. Like that's the thinnest and lightest tablet you'll own. The S25 Ultra, that's the end of it. What you are holding is what you get. You can't expand this out as much as you might want to try to. But it does have its own special traits. For one, at 6.9 inches, it's only 218 grams with a 5,000 mAh battery and an S Pen and 4 cameras on the back. It's a pretty incredible feat for Samsung to achieve all of that in this package. It's also the best display in the business. This anti-reflective coating is on top of what is an incredible display underneath it. But honestly, that anti-reflective coating, I don't know why they didn't put it on the Fold 7. Because when you compare these two, like in an outdoor environment, this is just the winner. Because on every single thing you do on it, it just removes those reflections and immerses you in the display. I wish the Fold 7 had it. I really, really do. The Fold, well, obviously, it folds and unfolds. So you go from this screen into this one with a very, very easy open and close mechanism, the hinge. Whether it be consuming media in flex mode or whether you've got it open in full screen, it just gives you that other experience that a slab smartphone won't be able to match. But when it is closed, you do get the advantage of it being one-handed because it is a little bit narrower and it's so thin and light, you can really reach across and carry it one hand very, very comfortably. The S25 Ultra, being so big, kind of doesn't allow for that all the time. I'll throw it in here. Part of the design is the audio experience. And I'm very curious with the audio here because we have such a thinner phone now and the S25 Edge's speakers suffered from how thin that was. Yes, we have 2 equal stereo speakers and the S25 Ultra, has got more room to play around with. I'm very curious to hear how it sounds, but I'm going to play it for you and then you let me know in the comments below. oneui 8 is finally here and it is perfect on the Z Fold7. Let's go. I've had oneui 8 on my S24 Ultra. oneui 8 is finally here and it is perfect on the Z Fold7. Let's go. I've had oneui 8 on my S24 Ultra. I can't figure out which one is better. Up to you, I guess. Then we have the cameras. And this is where on paper, it's a complete mismatch in terms of hardware offering. But not really. Fold 7 has taken the Fold Special Edition playbook and pretty much used that exact same camera set. 12 megapixel ultra wide with macro, 200 megapixel main camera, 10 megapixel 3x telephoto. Very disappointing this one, but we'll live. The S25 Ultra, of course, we know its prowess. 250 megapixel cameras, one 200 megapixel main camera, and then that same 3x telephoto with a laser autofocus module attached to it. Macro, 200 megapixel, 5x telephoto, That being the absolute beast of a camera. The thing is, camera hardware is really a portion of the story here. Because whilst the S25 Ultra has that advantage with more, like it's got the high resolution from the ultra wide, it's got a 50 megapixel 5x telephoto, which is just superb. Like, you forget how good it is sometimes if you switch away, but when you go and use it, the opportunities it opens up for content, my goodness. Like, I can show you output, you can see some photos now. Basically what you're going to be seeing is the fact that they're very similar, except for that 5x where the S25 Ultra has that advantage. The rest of the cameras, much of a muchness. And then aside from that, the rest of the story is down to the flexibility of the cameras. And I mean that with the absolute pun intended. Fold 7 is a portable studio. Because of the way it's got that hinge and the flex mode, it truly opens up different possibilities for content capturing. I've got kids, and having children, you're always trying to capture them in certain moments. And sometimes you just want to be a part of that moment. Like with the S25 Ultra, if you're trying to film, you can't just leave it there and then go join in. With the Fold, you can pop it into flex mode, hit record, and then if you need to, you can jump into the action and be a part of that memory that you're creating, as opposed to having to be behind the camera all the time. It's also really good to grab their attention. Sometimes kids, when you have them standing still, trying to take a photo of them, they won't listen. They're going to be looking the other way. They're going to be distracted. They're not focused on what they need to be doing. With the Fold, you can turn on that cover screen preview, and then you can have them be focused on that, so that way you can keep them still for the photo and get some really nice shots out of it. And then even if you don't take advantage of any of that stuff, you also have the fact that the inner display is 8 inches. And Samsung have made use of that by having the review on one side and the preview on the other. So you can easily see what you've taken, zoom in, favorite it, delete it if you need to, and then just go back to taking a photo. On the S25 Ultra, no fault of its own, it's a slab phone. You have to go into the review and it takes over the whole screen. You have to decide what you want to do, and then you go back and take another one. It's that flexibility and that thing that opens up with the Fold that you're just not going to get on another smartphone. And as a YouTuber, being able to record using the rear cameras with video and having a screen to frame myself up and having the quality of the rear camera, yeah, it's great. I've missed this. Having the Fold give me like a live preview so I can sort of make sure I'm in frame properly and then actually talk to camera. It's like the perfect on-the-go content machine. And if you're a YouTuber like me, like that's the perfect thing that you need, having this ability. S25 Ultra, you either have to use a selfie camera or you have to try and guess with the rear cameras. Whereas here, there's no guessing. It's just straight up getting to use that secondary cover display to do this. The Ultra used to have more of an advantage with the S Pen that had Bluetooth, but now that that's not there, then you get onto function and performance. And the thing is, this is where I guess from an ideology sense, they couldn't be further apart. Yeah, they both run oneui. Yeah, they both share the Samsung logo, but they have different ideas of what a smartphone can do. One is traditional, at least in Samsung's world. It works in the same way as smartphones have had in the last 5 to 10 years. Screen on the front, cameras on the back, that's pretty much it. Oh, an S Pen in the pocket. The other is transformative. Changes your behavior and how you actually interact with the thing that's in your pocket. What you really want to know is which experience is better for you. I can't really answer that for you. You've got to see it in action and then decide for yourself. The S25 Ultra is amazing at what it does. Ultrasonic fingerprint scanner quickly gets you into the phone, to running apps in pop-up windows on the big 6.9-inch screen. Does everything really, really well. Not to mention using the S Pen to sign documents. That is just an experience you won't be able to get on the Fold at all anymore. The Fold 7, well, it will feel like a normal phone when it's closed like this. And now with the Fold 7, it'll feel like that more than ever before, to the point where you won't even feel like you might need to unfold it. But then everything changes when you do make the decision to open it up. You will feel like you've just taken a tablet out of your bag, but you haven't, because it's the same phone you were using before. But it's not even the fact that you've got, multi-window, you've got the taskbar, you've got pop-up windows, or you've got flex mode. It's none of that. It's the fact that you've got access to it whenever you want. I mentioned the S Pen before. Of course, the S25 Ultra has the S Pen inbuilt. It's part of the package, and you can do so much with it. This year, the Fold 7 doesn't even support the S Pen. The digitizer layer has been removed. So if the S Pen is still important to you, maybe the Ultra is the way you need to go. The thing you also might want to consider is the battery. 4,400 milliamp hours, versus 5,000 on the Ultra. That might not be a big concern though, and I'll update you as we go. The S25 Ultra though is a tried and true formula. You know what you're going to get. You're getting a 5,000 mAh battery. You're getting that camera system. You're getting the 8 Elite for Galaxy. You're getting a slab smartphone experience that we all know and love that we've been using for years. There's no risk with getting the S25 Ultra. This does run the same chip, and you have 12GB of RAM and even a 16GB of RAM option with the 1TB. So the same performance will be here. The only thing is the heat. Because this has got very thin package, you might be expecting it maybe to heat up a bit. Again, something we'll test and let you know about. I just wanted to update everyone on the heat and the battery situation with the Fold 7. I filmed the comparison a couple of days ago, editing it today after the weekend. So I've had my daughter's birthday yesterday where I shot heaps of video on the Fold 7 throughout the day. And even though it's winter here, it does get quite hot and it didn't heat up. There was absolutely no issues with the heat whatsoever. And today I've been out and about at lunch, again celebrating my daughter's birthday. And again, the battery hasn't been an issue. Like it's about 4 something in the afternoon and I've got 40% battery left. I've had 3 hours plus of screen on time. That's whilst it also was out on mobile data trying to connect to 5G with 4G. Anyway, the battery will not be an issue. I firmly believe that, in the same way that the S25 Edge had no issues with that battery. So far so good with the Fold 7. You could probably expect on par with the Ultra if you use a mix between both displays. The Ultra probably will still shade it, but you get my point. It's not going to be a concern. The bottom line is, are you ready to fold yet? Before, it was a weight and size thing. And you're going to see that when we go into the comparison of every single fold. They were too heavy and too thick and sometimes too narrow. This year, that doesn't exist. It's lighter than the Ultra and only 0.7 millimeters thicker when it's closed. It has a fully sized 6.5-inch operational smartphone on the front. Same main camera as the Ultra. And then the crease is basically non-existent anymore. If you get the Ultra, you know what you're getting. Safe and reliable. Not to mention it's outstanding as a slab phone. But if you just want to give something else a go, if you look at this and think, you know what, now's the right time to try something new, this is perfect, and price isn't a concern for you, then go for it. And they do say, once you go fold, you'll never go back to old. Make sure you hit subscribe to Tech with Benefits for all future comparisons and videos. Join as a member so you can see them before everyone else. And we'll see you guys in the next one. You!